Hi again then guys, and so we've got another Special Projects custom build for you today, and this time it's a racing style build for the Lamborghini Aventador, hugely popular model on the game, and basically we've taken the Aventador and turned it into a GT3 spec race ready machine. Now, as far as the visuals, as you can see, it's pretty heavily modified, so first of all we'll go over to the visual tuning garage to show you what I've done to it. Obviously it is a custom tune, so you don't have to adhere to exactly what I've done. That's the beauty of these custom tunes, it allows for lots of personal variation. Then of course we'll go over to the mechanical garage for the tune setup, and then finally take it out to the track to see how it performs as a race car. Now, as far as the visuals on this particular model, I've gone for the Type B body kit. There is a lot of variation though, all three body kits look pretty good, and all three of them can pull off looking like a race car, but the Type B kit adds the most aero parts to the car, the chin splitter, the little extra louvers on the bumpers, etc. So that's the one that I've gone for. Unfortunately there is no flat floor in this one, but it kind of has a diffuser anyway. For the rear wing we've gone for a custom wing. Again, you can go for whatever style you want of course, but I've gone for the Type F wing support, which is this greyish silver colour. I've gone for the Type C wing itself, which as you can see from the top view is a curved wing, and then we've gone for the Type C winglets on the end, which are fairly minimal looking winglets, and then we've gone for 0 on height, which is as high as possible, and a width of +43, which is the maximum width. As far as other, because this car does actually have that, which makes a nice change, I've gone for the Type B selection on other, which changes the wing mirrors and also the engine bay cover to a kind of dull carbon fibre look. As far as the rims, there is of course only one size, and I've gone for the wheel rim type of the Oz Superforgiata rims. Obviously again you can go for whatever style you want, I just think they look pretty awesome on the Aventador. I haven't fitted any additional meters. There are additional meters available and I think most people probably would go for them. I just personally don't like the look of them on most cars. And finally, as far as the paint, obviously you can go for whatever colour you want, but I wanted it to have kind of an unfinished, almost test prototype kind of look to it, so I went for matte black. There are a variety of matte blacks on the game. You can get matte black from seasonal events, you can get it from the Lexus LFA, you can get it from the Aventador, etc. As far as the rims, I've gone for solid black, which it's not called solid black, but it is solid black, which is of course the glitched colour from the Peugeot Vision GT car. It's actually called red number 764, but it glitches to black. I think most people know about that glitch by now. I've gone for that same colour for the brakes, and for the wing I've done it the same matte black as the body. So that's it for the visual look overall. I have of course also put the race plate on the bonnet, etc., but I haven't fitted a number because again I wanted it to look like an unfinished prototype. So now we'll go over to the tuning garage for the more important thing, which is the mechanical setup. Now, as far as the mechanical setup on this particular model, as you can see I've gone for the 575 pp level. I've gone for racing soft tyres. It is all-wheel drive, so that's kind of overkill, but each to his own. I know everyone is very vocal about what kind of tyres they like to use. As far as suspension, I've gone for the lowest possible ride height. Springs we've increased to 1075 and 1425. The dampers to 5 all round. Anti-roll reduced down to 2. We've got 0.5 of a degree of camber on front and rear, and that's mainly for the look, to be honest. You want the car to have a little bit of stance to it because it is a race car. Not too much of course, but just for the look. If you don't care about the look, you can always go for 0 and that will make the handling looser. We've got neutral toe. We'll come back to the gearbox in just a second. For the diff, I've gone for an initial torque of 20 on the front and as low as possible on the back. That's so that the front end of the car leads. Now obviously that sounds like an obvious statement to make. Of course the front end of the car leads. But what I mean by that is with Lamborghinis they very easily get tail happy. So if you engineer the car's all-wheel drive system to make it as much as possible like a front-wheel drive car, that virtually eliminates that rear end slip. So if you can make the front end of the car lead as far as power and grip, the rear end will naturally follow. So that's why I've done that on initial torque. If you find that a little bit too stiff at the front end, you can lower it down to 10, or if you want it to be even stiffer, you can increase it up to 30. I wouldn't really recommend going any higher than 30 though. Same thing for acceleration, 20 on the front, 30 on the rear. It actually has the opposite effect on acceleration. The higher you go, the stiffer it is, and for braking, the lower you go, the stiffer it is. No, I should say, I said that the wrong way around. The acceleration, the lower you go, torque is the higher you go. Yeah, probably confused everyone now. So braking, we've got as low as possible to keep it controlled under braking. For the diff, we've got a 50-50 split, so that again, the front end is getting enough of that torque so that it can lead well. We do have an oil change on this one, and obviously you can go for whatever power you want, but I wanted it to have roughly the same kind of spec as the other GT3s, so 550 horsepower, 1300 kilos or more. So we've gone for the Stage 3 engine tune, sports computer, manifold, cat and intake tuning. The reason why I've done that many things is so that you can have a higher PP for its respective power, and also we're running the maximum downforce, which is actually pretty decent on this custom wing. The Stage 3 weight loss, window weight reduction, I've left the bonnet stock because I hate the look of the bonnet pins on this car, so again that's down to personal preference. We've got a 40 kilo ballast put all the way to the front of the car to bring us a little bit closer to that 50-50 split, and also nicely to the 575 pp level. And finally for the gearbox, this is of course not a top end tune, so we've got an auto setting of 205, then for the individual gears 4.7, 3.2, 2.4, 1875, 1525, 1275 and 1085 with a final drive of 3.3. So now let's finally take it out to Spa to see what it can do. Overall, the Aventador makes a surprisingly good GT3 spec machine considering how much less power it's running than it originally was in its stock form. However, it does perform very well with the 550 horsepower. It's very light on its feet, the all-wheel drive is excellent. Obviously, if it was an actual GT3 machine, it wouldn't have that to its advantage, but it is all-wheel drive, so you may as well make use of that. So overall, if you do decide to use this GT3 style build or a variation of it on your own Aventador, obviously I hope you find it fun and competitive at the 575 pp or whatever pp level you decide to use it on. And if you're new to the channel and would like to keep up with custom builds, replica builds and various other tunes like this as soon as they're released, be sure to hit subscribe down below, and as always, thanks for watching.